this little filter. Oh, yeah.
Bro,
Cute. This makes me look nice.
This makes me look Colombian.
Okay. Hello, beautiful humans. We are here. It is Thursday. And we're getting our lives back together. We've had a really, really fun week. My best friend Sam actually surprised me and came
Shout out to Sam, though.
She came down for the whole week, so we have been so busy. And honestly spent today, we slept pretty late, got our workout in, and yeah, waved to everybody. Yeah. Hi, Michelle. But we just decided to get on here, do our little live. We're doing it every Thursday. And today, we were just talking about, I was like, babe, what topic do you want to do? He's like, you need to pick. So what we're going to do is just start going through the comments that we got and all of the questions that we've gotten and just start answering. So it's kind of like Q&A. So if you guys are watching this or watching the recording and a question that you want answered has not gotten answered yet, comment it, because we're just going to be going through, we'll probably do a Q&A. I feel like that should be like a once a month thing, and then the rest of it will just be like topics that we choose. But if you are jumping on, let us know that you can hear us, because we got kind of a crazy setup here, so we just want to make sure. But our first question was from Cassie, my girl Cass. She said, what kind of things do you guys argue about, and how do you get through those arguments? Whew! Oh no, you can't hear. Oh, you can. Okay, I was like, shit.
Nice.
Okay, sweet. All right, so the first question is, what kind of things do you guys argue about, and how do you get through those arguments?
You want to go first?
We kind of went through the questions, I don't know, last week, and like came up with our kind of ideas of what I thought the answer would be and what he did. My first answer to that question, honestly, we have grown so much in the past couple of years, and there is like some, I don't know, what's the word, like key things that we've come back to that have kind of like, I don't even want to say like arguments, but like things that we've had to have like serious conversations about. And the first one, I guess, is just like my knowledge on Black culture. Second one, what else?
And again, that's not like arguments. There's no argument there, because at the end of the day, you're white. Like you're not gonna know all of Black culture and everything like that, but it's just discussions on consciousness of it and being able to relate, and for her to be able to understand a different side of life in general, which is my life. Yeah.
So I know we got some also let's answer this first. Okay, so we'll just start with that as the first thing that we would like conversate about is Black culture and my knowledge of, you know, current events that are going on. So a little background, I know I mentioned this quickly at the end of our last video. For those of you who don't know, I grew up in a super, super small town in the middle of upstate New York. I graduated with like 60 people, and we didn't have any Black people, and like I didn't have any Black kids in my class.
Not one?
Not one in my class.
Damn.
Yeah. My first boyfriend was Black though. He was the only.
So that's one.
He wasn't in my class though. He was a year younger.
Oh.
So, and his name was Jordan too. Haha. Anyways, but I grew up in a super small town, but the only there was one Black family, mixed family actually, in our town, and then the only other Black male was my stepdad, who obviously lived with me. So that's kind of like where I'm from. And then growing up, I don't know, I think that the fact that I had a Black stepdad and he was part of my life since the time I was 8 kind of like made me see him as, you know, I don't know, that was, you know, you always look for somebody that's like kind of like your dad. Jordy is not like my dad whatsoever, but I think that's just like
we have some similarities.
First attracted me to I don't know if that sounds weird. Like, first attracted me to black men was the fact that my stepdad was black, and you kind of like, I don't know, that was just my normal. But, okay, back to the argument. Mm-hmm. So, I think growing up, I didn't have a lot of knowledge. I think my mom did her best as far as being in a relationship with a black man to, like, kind of educate herself. But I think because we weren't surrounded by other black people, it was, like, not something that was, like, around me all the time, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So getting into our relationship, that is a huge part of, what you're passionate about, as far as, like, you put a lot of that into your music. Yeah. And so I had to not only, like, do my own research on, like, current events or, like, things happening in the world now. So, like, honestly, we watched a lot of documentaries, try and, like, check out, like, I follow a lot of people on social media, like, big people like Jay-Z, Beyonce, like, people like that who are just a really big part of that culture. Mm-hmm. So I think I've definitely come a long way. But at first, in the beginning of our relationship, like, that was something that we would kind of, like, I don't know, get into. We would have really in-depth conversation. Tell, like, your side.
I just really think that it was a culture clash, and that's what, like, caused indifferences in our relationship, and those were seen as little arguments or disagreements. But ultimately, like you said, you've come a long way, and, I think we are benefiting off of that in our relationship now. Things seem to be, like, communication seems to be a little better. And it's because you're more knowledgeable and more conscious of my culture, which is, like, how I do things, certain things that I study, certain things that I talk about. Like, ultimately, if you didn't do that knowledge, like, I've talked to you about this before, like, it was like, how is this going to work? How are you going to be with a black man? Like, it's not going to work. And then even in more depthly, like, how are you going to raise black children? Like, it's going to be difficult for you to do that if you have no knowledge of our culture, not just the entertainment, not just the LeBron Jameses and the sports, but what they do. Like, LeBron James building that school, like, that's more of the in-depth stuff in the culture.
And so you said something in the beginning of just, like, how we go about life. Like, this is something we had a conversation with Sam about even yesterday, of, like, you have to go through life a completely different way than I do. We live in America, which is, like, if you haven't watched the 13th Amendment, that's just, like, a little plug, but, like, the 13th Amendment on Netflix, it's a documentary, and it just kind of explains and goes through the history of pretty much all of black culture, like, from the start of slavery to, going to that, where slavery was, what is the word?
What are you,
like, made illegal.
Oh, it was, I guess you could, like...
Anyways, like, where slavery...
Abolished.
Yeah, abolished.
Yeah.
Couldn't think of it. Abolished, and then goes into, how basically the society kept slavery alive and turned it into, like, the prison. We had prisons, and there was, like, mass incarceration, and... Hi, Kaylee! But that really opened my eyes. We've watched a lot of documentaries, but, like, that one specifically really took me through the whole entire, like, history of kind of black culture and how it ended up and how we got to the point where we are today, where, there is a lot of things on the news about, police officers and struggles with, like, black men getting killed and black women, like, disappearing and all of these things. I don't really know where I was going with that.
I think you were just speaking on the documentary and how it just, like, basically you've been doing your research.
Oh, you said, okay, I remember.
Got it? Yeah.
How we go about life. Like, he has to go about life completely differently than I do, because in America, a white woman is not something that, like, I mean, we're like, already above, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, we're already... just because of how we're born, the way we look, like, we're already given more opportunities or you know, like more accepted in America than black people are. So
yeah, I mean,
I was just gonna say, like, you have to go through life kind of like more aware. That was definitely something we had to have conversations about, is he had to be way more aware and alert, and I'm very much like a super loving, like want to see the good in everybody, and also from a super small town where there's not a lot of crime, or there's like, I don't know, everybody kind of knows everybody. So coming to a big city, I had to definitely understand my surroundings and understand that I am with a black man now too. So it just completely changes the game.
Yeah, and I think ultimately it's supposed to rub off a little bit onto each other, because like, even as a black man, I won't benefit from consistently having my guard up, you know, going through life. Like, I'm not going to be open to opportunities or situations that might, you know, benefit me in some way if I'm constantly walking around with my guard up. But on the same thing, like, you can't just walk through this world 100% like, you
trusting of others,
trusting la-di-da, like, because people will take advantage of that. Like, it's not a if or maybe they will, like, they will. Like, it's just a matter of who sees it at what time. So like, it's just important to always have that balance, and like, we are literally the clash of that. So,
and I think that's like our biggest strength, and like it was our biggest weakness that we've turned into our biggest strength, because we are like so polar opposite in pretty much everything, that it's allowed us to really learn how to communicate with each other. And you know, his weaknesses is something maybe that I have strengths in, and my weaknesses are something that he has strengths in. So we've really been able to like learn from each other and grow from that. I feel like we've kind of answered that one, but like, what other things do we get into arguments about or conversations about? I think I was just gonna say this could be a whole nother video, like talking about love, what love is, idea of love, like all of that.
Yeah, I feel like
we might have to make that our next video.
Yeah, that one will go for a while. What other questions?
Okay. What are your guys' love languages, and how do you accommodate each other with them? That needs to go with the love video.
Okay. I'm trying to think of another thing that we have like had a disagreement or conversation about. I don't know.
I feel like a lot of our big conversations come from putting faith over fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, that's just a constant everyday thing. So
it's like a accountability thing.
Mm-hmm.
We could talk about, I mean, one thing that we get into conversations about is like my struggle with anxiety, like, for sure, because your faith was very much stronger than mine in the beginning.
Yeah.
And so my struggle with anxiety has like come a long, long ways, and I've like really learned how to overcome a lot of it and know myself and how it shows up in my life and in what circumstances. And I think for you, like, that literally goes back to Black culture, like, and how we were raised and everything. Like, you almost didn't have time for like anxiousness.
Yeah.
And like, that was my norm.
Yeah, I mean, that's what most Black culture, like, Black people have endured over the years. When you think of slavery and just civil rights and everything, like, we had to take what we could get, basically, and we were always on high alert, and you're just like, you don't have time to like second guess, basically, because that could be the end of you in more ways than one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a big clash for us, you being very anxious, but it's like, it's something that everybody gets, so it's like, it's not, and like, it
shows up differently in everyone. And
it's not like Black people are immune to it, like the whole like race is immune to it. That's not the case. It's just like, all together, we, from what we've endured generationally, like, I feel like we are less likely to be like crippled by it, yeah, because we've endured so much already. So it's just like
your nature is to like come out on top. Like your nature is to like fight through.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's now because I think it's now like it's like we want to, but I think in the past and up till now it's like we've had to. Like that's our mentality. It's not like we just want to be on top because we want to. We like have to try to find a way. We have to fight to do that. So like you said, it was almost like we didn't have time to be anxious. And then like you said, it's just a thing like of us rubbing off on each other again, because like I understood like I couldn't be like, stop being anxious. Like that's impossible. Like it's impossible to stop being anxious, but at the same time, like being conscious and noticing it and checking it then, people don't do that. People like just let it be, and they're like, this is okay.
And then it turns into more.
Yeah, and they're like, this is okay. This is okay for me to be, and it is okay for you to be anxious, but it's not okay to address it and let it continuously build up into like a nervous breakdown.
Right.
So,
and I think just the biggest thing that with that is we've learned through lots of experiences and like failed attempts, like you've learned, I think, best how to like comfort me when I am struggling, because at first you were just like almost like why are you even feeling this way?
Yeah, it was just like I would give you like
tough love type.
Yeah, but it was more like, I guess you could say that, but it was just like me saying like, it'd be like if you didn't like said I didn't get this job that I wanted or something like that, and I was like, well, it's okay, you're meant for a better job. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's tough love, but it's like you don't need to be sad right now. Like, think something better is coming. Like, don't be in this anxious, sad mode right now. But I realize that's like,
I think when anxiety is very bad or you're in a state of panic, you don't feel safe. And so I think he learned to like, maybe I just need a hug and like a reminder to breathe through those moments and like take a second to like remind me of what I'm grateful for, or like take a second to pray. Those things bring me down from that like constant state of like worry. Mm-hmm. Okay, I want to go on to another question because we could go on about that stuff for days. But I think a good one, this is from Alyssa, my girl. She said, how do you continue to support each other's dreams? I think this is a pretty good one.
Well, can I start?
Yeah.
I feel like I don't really have a choice. But like seriously, like you're a Beachbody coach. You're all about health and fitness, and not only just like the physical, which a lot of people want to eat good and then look bomb, but the emotional and mental gains that you get from eating right and working out. And that's what you're all about. So it's an everyday thing. So like me saying, I don't have a choice is actually pretty accurate.
Because it's my life. Like my life is taking care of myself and going after, like as a coach, that's my everyday. That's just what I do. So if he weren't to support coaching, like,
and I think
there wouldn't be a way that we could be together.
I think that it's just like, ultimately, I have to ask myself in being with you, like, what, like you said, like, if I didn't support it, what does that say? Like, not only what does it say about the relationship, but what does it say about me just individually? Like, do I not want to better myself emotionally, physically, mentally, and watch what I eat and take care of myself? And then even further on, like, becoming a father one day, do I want to be in a position where I can be healthy for my kids or not? And that's what you do, like, for a living. And so I think it's not hard for me to support that dream, because it's what
our lifestyle.
It's not only what we need, but it's what the world needs.
Right.
So when you're doing something that's going to ultimately help the world, I don't think it's too hard to support that.
I think for that question too, like, how do you continue to support each other's dreams? I think you do a really good job at like helping me level up in those areas. Like I state, we have tons of conversations about, you know, where I want to be, my dreams as a coach, my dreams, you know, of maybe opening my own bakery one day, or going down these different paths of just like things that I'm super passionate about. So he pushes me in those areas. If I tell him, you know, he holds me accountable for the goals that I set for myself, and that's how you support someone. I mean, that's how like I feel most supported, is when you know, listen to what I'm saying and then help me level up in that area in whatever way that you can.
Yeah.
I think on the other side of how I support your dreams, I feel like I'm obsessed with your music. Like, I don't know, I feel like I'm almost as obsessed with it as you are. So, like, I want to do whatever I can to, like, see you succeed. So I think right now, the biggest thing is, like, honestly allowing you to be home. Like, and
to work on. But I think something that is not even just recording is, once I've done the recordings, another thing that's, like, supportive of, maybe you don't notice it as that, you're just like listening to the music, but it's supportive, like the growth in what you've been able to, I mean, it goes back to you learning Black culture and stuff like that, but the growth that you've been able to make in hearing my music and understanding it. Because even at the beginning, like, I'm not saying you didn't understand it, but it was just
I
like,
didn't know that I couldn't understand it.
Yeah, and it was unrelatable. Like, it was, but as time went on, I think you even listening to other people's music, like, and me telling you, you know, what up, Sam? But you listening to other, you know, Black music, and not just like rap, like,
music.
Yeah, Sade and Nita Baker, like listening to older Teddy Pendergrass, like just older music like that
you
to
got
give
inspiration from.
Exactly. And so, like, it's like I passed that knowledge down through my music to you, and it's like a brand new thing for you, whereas like maybe people that are listening to my music, like, they get every reference, but for you, like, it was all brand new, and now you're at a place where you're like, you can listen to my music and get most of the stuff I'm saying. And that just shows support, because like, you could still be in a place where you don't understand what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've shared this on my stories before, but literally my schedule during the day is like, I wake up before him and do my morning routine. I usually go get my workout in and then come back, and we usually have about 1 to 2 hours that we spend with each other, like midday, where we literally just listen to music, whether it's his music or, you know, Jay-Z or Kanye or Drake, or literally all of these people that we love, and we like break it down, and like almost like it's like study time for music. So I think that's a big way that I help support you. But I think just last thing on that question.
Yes.
Hi guys. Last thing of how we support each other's dreams is, and I think this goes for anything in a relationship, you have to love it almost as much as that person does. You have to be almost as passionate about what they're doing as you are your own dreams. So for me, like coaching, like that's what I'm super passionate about. He has to almost have the same level of intensity and love and passion for that, so that he can continue to push me in that direction, and me the other way as well.
Yeah. And one more thing I want to add to that is, like, for real, it's like, I feel like we got lucky in this sense because of what we both do. Like, I feel like there's a lot of relationships out there, like, I'm not speaking on them negatively or anything, but like, one lady is a nurse and the other one's a lawyer, say, but like, that the nurse has no the passion to be a lawyer,
right,
or anything that the lawyer is doing. That's just who they're in love with, and they bring the money home with that. Like, with us, I have to be passionate about taking care of my body, taking care of my mind, eating right, like, because that's what you do for a living. With you have to understand music and listen to music and
anyway.
love music, like, and just like understand the culture and everything and the references from music, like, which is an art, like, so basically food and art, like, that's all we have to worry about.
The last thing I was gonna say with that is, like, we are both entrepreneurs, like, and I feel like that's a more common thing, obviously, in today's society, but back then, like, that was not common at all. So in our relationship, it's a totally different dynamic than somebody, like you said, who has two people working 9 to 5s. Like, we're both entrepreneurs, making our own schedules, like trying to go after our separate dreams, but also support each other. So it's just like a totally different dynamic of a relationship. Hi guys. All right. So next question is with Bree, from Bree. She said, I want to hear the positives and challenges of living with your significant other. Do you get alone time? Do y'all have an agreement on who takes care of what? And then she asked if we'll be getting a fur baby soon.
All right, so let's just start with the beginning. What was the first sentence?
So the first sentence was, hear the positives and challenges of living with your significant other.
Okay, so one that I have, and then you can take over. One that I have for sure, one of them was, like, sleeping habits.
Yeah.
And so, like, I like to stay up late. Like, that's just what I do. It's just how my body is. It's like, I'm very creative at night. Like, I'm a night owl for sure. Like, I can get up in the morning and have a pretty productive morning and everything, but, like, I like to stay up real late, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then sleep in a little bit. This one, like, well, she claims that she doesn't like to stay up late, but she be up late. and then, like, she'll try to get to sleep early because she's a morning person. Like, she does better in the morning when she gets up and gets her, PD done and all that stuff. Like, she's better in the morning. But the disagreement comes when she was like, basically she can't fall asleep without me being in the bed.
Anyone else?
In the actual bed with her, like, not in the living room, writing or something. She's in the room, you're tired, get your sleep. Like, she can't sleep. And then it kind of put me in a situation where I was, like, feeling bad. Like, is it, like, I feel bad for staying up, like, when I want to, because she's not getting the sleep that she wants and blah, blah, blah. But we're past that now.
Yeah.
She takes her ass to sleep. So.
Okay,
like,
so at first, her question was, like, challenges. That's definitely a challenge that we've had. But I think in the beginning, when we first moved in with each other, I just, like, wanted to spend so much time with you that I would kind of forget my own schedule and stay up super late. And then I would get so frustrated with myself because I don't work my best when I'm on his schedule, like staying up till 3 and then getting up at like 10 or 11. Like, that's not my prime time of creativity and getting my work done. And I like to be up a little bit earlier to, I don't know, I just like function better at that time. So I think when we first moved in with each other, it was like I wanted to spend all this time with him, so I was just going to stay up late. I was going to do whatever so that we could, like, hang out, and it was new, it was fresh, but then it kind of led me down this hole of, like, not doing what I needed to do for myself. And so, yeah, it has been, like, a process, and there definitely is still I still stay up a little bit later. Like, I usually, my midnight is, like, my cutoff, so I'm still staying up a little bit later so that we can get time together, but still keeping my own goals and my own, like, self in mind so that I can still get up early in the morning. So that was a good one. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah, it's something, but
we're working through it. Positives of living with each other. I think the biggest is just pushing each other. Like, we're constantly on each other to, like, holding each other accountable for what we say we want to do. So, like, eating, like, if as a health coach, it's my job to literally fuel my body and eat well. And, if I want to go get a snack or something, he like checks me on it. Not in, like, a bad way, but in a, like, holding me accountable for what I say I want.
What are your goals?
Yeah. And I'm grateful for that. This keeps, like, sliding down.
And it's the same thing on my end, so everything goes hand in hand. Like, if haven't written something in a while or don't have any, new music or anything, like, she's on me about, when is the next time you're going to go to the studio? When is, the next song you're writing? Have you written anything lately? So I think that is probably the biggest plus just us holding each other accountable and also pushing each other constantly out of the comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's a bad place to be.
And I think we're so grateful to like live with each other now, because when we first started dating, obviously this is pretty much everybody's story, but we were a little bit like long distance, and I was working and 2 jobs and going to school, so I was just like super busy, so we really didn't get a lot of time together. And when we did, it was just like short spurts, like a night or 2 nights or something. What did he say? Go over, I need to get my workout in. Love you, Kaylee, go crush it. What was I saying? Oh, we're just grateful that we actually get to live together now, and we just picked up and moved across the country, so
that was dope.
Oh yeah, that was dope.
It was fun.
Alright, we answered how did we meet in the last video.
How many more
I don't know, you want to do one more?
Do one more.
Yeah, I feel like we've been talking a minute. There's a lot of questions, so we'll have to
We're gonna have more content for later, for the next video.
Okay. Last question. Why did it take him so long to start and complete a program with you?
Why did it take me so long? Oh, this is just a question for me. I feel like, I mean, you could, yeah, you give your 2 cents, but I'm the real source of why. But ultimately, I think that I didn't finish a program with her because of like probably skepticism a little bit of the whole program, not necessarily the products, but like just the program and working out. And I think that comes from a lot of athletes. Like once you do your own, like I went from playing at Wells Division III college basketball, like, and having my own workout regimen as well as a men's basketball workout regimen. So I was just like, it was just trained. Like I already felt like I knew a lot of things, which I do. Like I do know a lot of good workouts and things that you can do to get stronger. But like, I guess I was just skeptical about a video, you know, following a little person on a video and doing these little workouts with the little slides and the bands and stuff. I'm like, you don't really need all of that, but like, it's just something different. And like in life, when you try different things, you usually end up liking them. Like it's just your fear that's holding you back from doing it, or not understanding, like one of the two. So I think mine was not necessarily fear, because I ain't scared of nothing, but it was definitely misunderstanding. Like I didn't understand it, so therefore I wasn't like, oh yeah, let me try this out. I was more like, I already got my own thing, which I'm sure you deal with a lot of
and I'm
people.
glad this is the question, because I feel like this is typical, like past athletes almost. And I get it too, because I was a past athlete. Like I thought when I went to the gym, I would just kind of know what to do, or like I didn't need anybody to tell me what to do. I didn't need a trainer because I've been an athlete, so I should know what to do. But when we first, I was going to talk about like when we first got together, I would literally, so he lived in this tiny ass apartment in the top of a house. It was literally like a little attic. And I had about this much space to do a workout in. But every time I would come visit him, I would still get my workouts in because that's my job. And my programs can be done at home. So I would still work out when I came to see him. And you might have done like 2 or 3 workouts with me, max, when we lived in New York. But when we moved down here, and obviously we're together a whole lot more, and we have access to our apartment gym. Will you like tip it up a little bit? Like push it back. When we had the access to our apartment gym and we're together a whole lot more, it's almost like, okay, well, I'm showing up and doing my workout every day, and you weren't really working out when we lived in New York. You were playing basketball every once in a while, but
yeah, I wasn't consistently going to a gym or lifting with weights or anything like that.
So when we moved here, you started to work out again, but still was kind of doing your own thing. And then I feel like the first program you did with me was Lift 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was like a lifting program that I was doing, and I invited him to do it with me, and I was like, babe, it's lifting, it's more like your style, because I've done some other programs that are more, I don't know, like for whatever my goals were, and his goals were to, put on mass and muscle and all of these things. So that was like the first program that we kind of did together, and there were still days where he did his own thing, but I think as he kind of saw how it worked, where I literally just bring up my computer, I press play on, or I pick my program and I press play on it, and it's a personal trainer. So I think maybe you didn't understand, like you were saying, you didn't understand how it actually worked and the intensity of it, because our workouts can be really intense. Like the one that I'm doing now is by a NBA trainer. So like he's not playing. Like it's an intense workout. It's not like people, I think the misconception is like, oh, you can't get results from an at-home workout program, and we're here to show that.
You definitely can. And it's another thing, I just think it was like I said, I think I had to understand that my mind isn't like other people's minds. Like I was an athlete once, so even if I didn't have information of Beachbody, which was making me only do my own thing, I still had information. And there's a ton of people out there that have no information at all. Like they're just trying to get their body in the best shape, or their mind, or just eat right in general. So Beachbody and these programs, they give people like that a path. They give them a way in to start on their goals, and then from there the sky's the limit, because there's you can go at your steady pace, or you can really get intense with it and see dramatic improvement. So that's just what I had to see. It's not just the basketball. I was in I guess my basketball athlete bubble, and there's just so much more out there in terms of physical fitness and all that good stuff.
And I think now you've learned a lot of workouts from doing them with me too.
Right.
And we still we don't always do a program together. Sometimes he still does his own thing, but now you understand it. Yeah. I think that is all of our questions we're gonna answer tonight. Sound good? We've been talking a minute. We have lots more content to come, and we definitely want to continue to answer your questions, but we're excited. We're thankful for all of you guys who hopped on. We will be uploading this to YouTube, so you can watch the full video. We'll post the little snippet on IGTV. But what was the question? Oh, yes, I used to go to the gym, but had no idea what to do and only did cardio. I was the same way. I would literally go to the gym. Even though I was an athlete in school, I would go to the gym and just hop on the treadmill and be miserable, and then just leave, because I was not confident with what I was doing in the gym without a coach telling me.
And I like what she said down here. It's she had a direction.
Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about. People need that direction, and then they'll just go hard from there. They just need that start, honestly.
Yeah, and that was definitely me. Hi guys, I see y'all hopping on now. Okay, we are actually hopping off.
Missed the show, but you can go to YouTube.
Yeah, make sure you go back and watch. We're gonna post our little snippet on IGTV, post the full video on YouTube. But we love you guys. We appreciate your support, and we hope we answered some of your questions. And like we said, if you have any others, post them on the post that will be up tonight, so we can continue to answer them and come up with just different topics. So we love you guys. Peace.
See y'all next Thursday.